89.3. Traffic.
Our last look at traffic this morning, an accident on Brattle Road toward Lorong 6, Topayo, avoid the left lane. A vehicle breakdown on the BKE toward the PIE, and that is just before the SLE exit. So far, lots of other roadworks happening. Please do be careful as you are driving on our highways and byways, and be careful when the rain starts a little bit later on this afternoon.
If you see anything on the roads that we might have missed, you can share it with us via SMS or WhatsApp to 9717-8893. But please send the message through only when you are safely parked. Weekend Mornings with Glenn Van Zutphen on Money FM 89.3.
Welcome to our final half hour of Weekend Mornings here on Money FM 89.3. Been so wonderful to have my special guest co-host today, Cheyenne Yeoh, the founder of Happiness Scientists, and a lot of diversity in our guests today.
Yeah, absolutely. Gosh, I'm learning so much just sitting here and listening to you ask questions from all our guests. I've taken so many notes.
Well, you've been asking some great questions yourself, so thank you for that. Look, the topic this hour for us has been Myanmar, and we just talked with Professor Kishore Mahbubani about what ASEAN could do more of and its approach. We have seen many more protests happening. There were no major reports of violence last night, but of course, over 1,500 people have been detained. Dozens of people have been killed in these recent peaceful protests after the coup by the military. Let's cross over now to Yangon, because I think it's important we get the story from on the ground right then and there. Soe Myint is joining us. He is the founder and chairman of Mizima Media Group in Yangon. Good morning. Great to see you again. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning. Good morning, Glennon.
Good morning.
What is the situation there right now? So what is happening this Sunday morning?
Well, let's start with yesterday night.
Okay.
As usual, similar to other nights, previous nights, the military and police forces have been searching and going around the houses in Yangon and other cities and arresting and detaining the people. Some of them are the party members of NLD, and many are just non-members. Then many are civilians, activists, and youngsters and young people. That is what happened last night, and what is going on. That has been going on for some days. And of course, you must have also heard and seen the security forces even robbing and looting the houses where the owners and landlords are not there, and they are even looting in the city malls. So it is really undisciplined, chaotic situation from the side of the security forces. Of course, the people continue to protest. You will see, we are seeing the protests, peaceful protests in cities in Mandalay and Yangon this morning.
And so if I can just jump in there, you had mentioned overnight there were different raids happening. I saw one article that said 3 people had been detained from in and around Yangon. Do you have any idea how many people in total have been detained in different parts of the country, or even in Yangon itself?
It is definitely
from last night.
Yeah, it is definitely more than 3. The 3 that it has been reported, I've seen the report on social media and in the media. The 3 who are the security, those who are looking after the quarters of a place in Yangon. They were taken away by the security forces in one place. Definitely more than 3 last night. Of course, we don't know how many exactly have been detained, have been taken away. And I have seen at least 3 places where people have been taken away by the security forces in Yangon alone.
And is this, you mentioned the looting that was happening. Is this a a new development in terms of the security forces, police and military actively looting. I hadn't seen that before in recent days. I've seen them facing off against the protesters and, of course, sadly killing some of them, but I haven't seen them starting a kind of a looting element to this. Is that new?
We didn't see that looting and robbing in certain places in the beginning. We started seeing 2 days ago, particularly in Mandalay and in Yangon. We have reported that, of course, in Myanmar language through our media outlets, where there was no owner in the house, and they came and they searched and they took away the valuables, gold and cash, and also there was looting in a mall in Yangon. All this happened just from 2 days onwards, and of course there have been a lot of things going on, including photos and videos on the streets where the security forces, police and military, taking away the food of the vendors on the streets. Those were there on the social media.
And this strikes me a little bit odd, because in past years we've seen the security forces have actually been very, I would say, regimented, or very much professional, in the sense that they are there, they're doing their job, but they're not necessarily out acting like bandits, if you will. Do you have any idea, first of all, how widespread this might be, but secondly, why that is changing? Are there orders? Would there be orders from the top, trying to sow some sort of discord, or do you have any ideas on that?
I'm not sure whether these are coming from the top or from the higher level authority. It seems that the higher level or the top are trying to show that they are disciplined. They are using only the police to face the peaceful protesters. That is the story they are trying, and they are trying to behave that way. But in reality, I am monitoring all the time of what is happening through the videos and photos that we are broadcasting. What is happening in reality on the ground is the police are not the police forces. The police are, many of them are soldiers turned police. I mean, the soldiers are into the police force with the police uniforms. That is one. This is one fact that I think which is violating the norms and terms of facing such protest. And second one is the military is always behind. The soldiers are always behind. So, but when the police are not able to do what they are supposed to do, military personnel come in. That is what is happening. And we have seen the shooting of the protesters, even by the snipers, which the military junta is denying. We have seen, that is what we see, the young teenagers are shot dead from their head, and then that is what happened in Mandalay with this 19-year-old teenager who is a Chinese origin. Very tragic movement there. So that is happening. Of course, whether that is happening widespreadly throughout the nation, no. I have seen this particularly in Yangon and Mandalay. We are also monitoring what is happening around in other parts of the country, even remote villages in other parts of the country. Except in major cities, many places are quite having quite a peaceful protest. Police are there, security forces are there, but protests are also there. So I think there is a sort of a localized situation in such areas, in villages and small towns, where the protests continue, but security forces also there. But that is a different scenario when we are talking about in Yangon or Mandalay.
Yeah, that's interesting that you mentioned that, because so far, at least in the international press, we've just seen the violence that has occurred because of the protests. We have not seen as you mentioned, the fact that in many places there are peaceful protests happening, even with security forces there. So thank you for updating on
from
that.
the day one till today, the protest in different parts. I mean, that is that I was in 1988 peaceful demonstration, nationwide demonstration against the military. Of course, that time there was no such media that we have now, like internet and social media. But this is the time. I'm seeing that this protest and the demonstration is nationwide in different parts, which is not even in the many of the national media in the country because of the lack of resources. But we are getting these people footages and videos, people protesting in different parts of the country.
Yeah. And so tell us right now, what are the latest numbers that you have on the number of people that have been killed or that have been detained?
We have been trying to confirm daily. So whatever we have been able to get, Mizima able to confirm is about 50 have been killed confirmed, shot dead, killed confirmed. And then we have about above 1,000, which is difficult, but I just got a confirmation in insane jail, which is in Yangon, about 700 have been in insane jail. So it will be more than 1,000 have been detained in different parts of the country. Of course, there can be many more. That's why it is difficult to get confirmation. There can be many more because there are reports of people missing, which basically is likely to have a casualty in this crisis. Like, for example, there was one boy who is around 20 years old who reported missing, and then today, this morning, we saw his photo be beaten very badly on the head, and he is dead. He is a dead now person. So that there are reports of people missing, which I think is a very much possibility to have casualties.
Yeah, we're on the line with Soe Myint, the founder and chairman of Mizima Media Group. He is in Yangon this morning, telling us about the latest on the Myanmar coup protests. And so, when you have been arrested before and detained before yourself, the people that have been arrested or detained, these 1,000 or more people, what kind of treatment do you think that they would be getting in their detention? You mentioned this one fellow who was beaten to death, basically. But would everybody be in a situation where they would face physical violence in detention around this protest?
I have not been arrested in the country in the last 25 or 30 years so far
by mistake. I thought you had been.
By the military regime. But what I know is there is a lot of risk, and it's frightening for a person before he or she is taken to jail. So that is the period where a person is so risky to be beaten up very badly and to be treated very badly. But once he or she is taken to jail, I think it is a quote unquote in a better situation, because the out there, outside jail, you don't know what is going to happen to you if you are detained or if you are taken away. So that is, but we have been monitoring what is happening in jail in insane, particularly in Yangon. Many of them are charged. Particularly those journalists who are still in detention and in jail, they will be charged with this the anti-government charges, which is not related with reporting or anything to do with the media work. They will be charged with anti-government charges, and it is possible that some will be charged less, some will be charged with long years. So there are volunteer lawyers who are trying to help But there are also others who the volunteers are not able to reach out to anyone. So once you are in jail, you are in a better situation. But before you are in jail, you are in a very fragile and very frightening situation.
Yeah. One of our Facebook Live viewers, A.B. Terrence, has a question, and his question is, could the continued violence lead to civilians getting weapons and taking up weapons? Is it possible? Are there enough weapons in the country for people to get a hold of them, or are they just in the hands of the military and the police?
You know, I'm very clear this time that the people are very, very angry with the military and security forces. It is not a question of, many people think it is a question of military versus NLD or even Aung San Suu Kyi. No, it is a question of people fighting for their rights back. It is a question of young people, particularly leading that they don't want to take away their rights. And when they saw all these atrocities that they didn't expect, of course, people like me have seen that. For me, it is not the first time, not surprising, but many young people who just saw a glimpse of the freedom in the last like 7-8 years, they were shocked and they wanted to take it back. They are right, internet right, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly. They wanted to take that limited rights they had enjoyed. Now, when they saw this brutality and atrocities with their own face and the inside nearby where they are so angry. So they can do anything. They are ready to die. They are ready to sacrifice. So that is a tragedy. I am very unhappy that what will happen with these young people. What is their future? They are so angry. There is a huge the bitterness. When we were in 1988, okay, we cannot forget, but we will forgive. That was what we were. Now this generation, they will not forgive. They will not forget. That is the difference.
And so I know this is impossible perhaps to predict right now, but with both sides being so hard in their positions, the military on one, the protesters on the other, how is there ever going to be a resolution to this? We've seen even the severe violence from the military has not stopped the protesters. In fact, as you just mentioned, it makes them more agitated. How do you think that this could peacefully end? Is it possible?
It is different. It is a tough fight for the people who love and who want rights and democracy. It is a tough fight, but it is a continued fight. In Myanmar, Burmese people, not only the people in the cities and Yangon, Mandalay, Naypyidaw, the peoples in different areas. So the rates. That is the only resolution. How they will go? They will go because of the people. Because the people will fight. It is, of course, sanctions and international support. They are very much important in a way. Will fight so that the military will go. What I will see, we will see it one day.
Yeah, you cut out just a little bit, but what I'm gathering you said, and correct me if I'm wrong, is they're going to carry on both sides no matter what. Both sides are hard in their positions. And if in fact that's the case, who from the outside could have impact on a resolution to this? The United Nations has indicated that they don't really seem to have much power in this particular situation. But would it be China? Would it be Russia? Would it be the U.S. working behind the scenes? Would it be ASEAN members, as we just discussed with Professor Kishore Mahbubani? Who do you think holds the ability to get through to the military on this?
I think in terms of the question of the role of international community and the countries, I think whoever wants to see Myanmar and Burmese people to gain their freedom and liberty, they are important. They are important. The United States is important. The United Nations is important. ASEAN is important, and of course, the ASEAN is not the same. You have seen, we have seen Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia coming very strongly, which is different, like when we were in the 1990s.
Yeah.
So that these are the things that will be. Of course, one individual or one country or one group can really be a sort of a solving position. It will be different people, different factors coming together, and but we have one thing is very clear: what Myanmar is seeing now is not what we were in 1990s or after 1988. It is totally changed. It is of course, I would like to add here, there is a huge anti-China sentiment in Myanmar, which is very different from what we were. And also the people, since the people are so angry with whoever is with the military, whoever is supporting, whoever they think are aligned with the military junta regime. I think the international community and the supporters should be aware about this.
So I'm curious about the role of the media in such a situation, and also given that it's young people who are very angry, young people also tend to turn to social media to maybe protest about the situation or talk about the situation. So I'm just would love to hear your insight on that.
The media, it is very important. Media plays, I mean, as always, but particularly this time of crisis, plays a very important role. And the regime knows exactly. They shut down our TV channel, free-to-air TV channel, from the day one on 1st February. So we are on back from the day one. We are in alternative broadcast system. We are broadcasting every day. So the media could. We have to do our own job. So media, and I'm very proud of the Myanmar journalists. We have about 30 people were detained. Journalists and reporters were detained, and out of that, about 10 are still in jail. And they are out there. They are doing live reporting. It is not. We are not. These journalists and reporters and media, particularly, they are not afraid of the danger that they face. They are afraid of. They are concerned of. They are not being able to work. That is what they are there. They want to work. They want to report. So that is so I think the media is very important. International media is also very important. I'm very happy that we have this discussion, because the international community also needs to know clearly of what is going on all the time, because things are developing very rapidly, and there are many things which are underneath as well. So I think for me, media is very critical in this moment to report truth and to report exactly what is going on.
Absolutely. So many brave journalists out there that are doing amazing work. I'm glad to hear that number of detained journalists has gone down. And as you say, it's around 10 or so. That's good news and better than we've had in recent days. We have to leave it there. But Soe Myint, founder, chairman, Myanmar Media Group, thank you for being with us on Weekend Mornings here on Money FM. I do sincerely hope that you'll come back again in coming weeks and talk to us more about what's happening.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Please stay safe. Yeah.